Hey guys, man, I miss you all so much. I feel like it's been so long since I've got to see all of you. Well, I wanted to help you out with some things for our week 2 lesson for math class. We're going to be working on graphing. I think this should be a pretty quick and easy lesson for you guys. And so I'm going to try and put some other fun things in there for you guys to work on as well. So we have 4 different types of graphs that we're going to work on this week. So we have a bar graph. That one is probably going to be the one you guys are going to have the easiest time with. Then a line graph. This is going to show different types of thing over time, and we'll go over each of these in a little bit as well. We have a line plot. We do these all the time in Mountain Math. And then we have a picture graph, and you guys probably remember these from when you were in kindergarten or first grade and first starting to do graphs. So here's an example of one of our bar graphs of what it might look like. So bar graph has some different components. So the first thing we need to look at is our title. So the title of this bar graph is When Kids Woke Up. So every bar graph you have either has a title or you're going to have to give it a title. I need to know what we're looking at. Then we have the up and down, we call it an axis, and then our side-to-side axis, and both of these gets labeled as well. So if we look at our side one here, oops, sorry, wrong way. It says kids. So how many kids were we looking at? 1 kid, 2 kid, 5 kids. How many are we counting? And then the bottom numbers are talking about time. And I put AM. Hopefully you're waking up in the AM and you're not waking up at 2 in the afternoon. But these are the 2 things that our axes are looking at. How many kids woke up at each time? So maybe I would ask my group of kids, and I would say, how many of you woke up at 7 a.m.? No one. I bet most of you guys are not waking up at 7 a.m., so I might leave that one blank. So I say, how many of you guys wake up at 8? Maybe mom and dad come in your room and you're like, hey, you need to get up and start your day. You're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to. But 2 of you do. So I would make my bar graph like this. And if we look, here would be 1 kid, here would be 2 kids. So we have 2 kids that woke up at 8 a.m. Then I say, okay, how many of you guys woke up at 9 a.m.? And a whole bunch of hands shoot up in the air. Mom and dad let you sleep in a little bit. We've got 5 kids that woke up at 9 a.m. And then you would fill in this bar. So a bar graph is kind of looking at different results, and we're using a bar to solve this. So now let's say, how many of you guys woke up at 10 a.m.? Maybe there was 3 of you that woke up at 10 a.m. No one woke up at 11. Oh, maybe 1 person woke up at 11. And then we had that sleepyhead. There was 2 of you who slept until noon today because you were up playing Fortnite a little too late last night. So we would look at our bar graph. We could use this for just about anything that we want to graph. You could go around and ask people in your house what their favorite color was, and you could start graphing how many people like each color. So lots of different things we could use a bar graph for. So then we could ask questions like, how many more people woke up at 9 than at 10? Well, we would have to look. 5 people woke up at 9. And 3 people woke up at 10. How many more? We know that keyword, how many more, means subtract. So how many more woke up at 9 than at 10? 2 more people. Sometimes it might also ask you a question like, how many people did I look at all together? Well, now we would have to go and count. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 2 is 13. So we looked at 13 people all together. So make sure you understand how to read your bar graph so you can also answer those questions. So our next type of graph we're going to look at is our line graph. And a line graph shows how something changes over time. So this is something you need to remember. Line graph shows how something changes over time. So we have to start out with that title, always, always, always. So our title on this one is, how many hours did Spot sleep? So I'm looking at my dog, I'm wondering, does he have a normal sleep schedule, does he not? And I'm going to look at my 2 axes. This first one is hours. Well, how many hours did he sleep? 0, 2, 4, 6. I went all the way up the side. And then which day of the week am I tracking that? So I'd look at Monday, and maybe Spot slept 8 hours. So I'm going to come to Monday and mark the 8. Maybe Tuesday, he was real tired. We took him to the park Monday or something, and he slept a full 10 hours. Now Wednesday, though, maybe he slept 7. So if we look here, we know 7's not on my list, but we should know 7 comes right between 6 and 8. So I can come on Wednesday and plop in a dot right in the middle of 6 and 8. Maybe Thursday, he also slept 7. Friday, maybe he was just exhausted. He had a whole party with his doggy friends. I don't know. He's at 12 hours, and since he slept so much Saturday night, he only got 6 hours, and Sunday he got another 8 hours. So then what a line plot's going to do is, or a line graph, sorry, is it's going to come through, and it's going to track, oops, missed that out a little bit, how Spot has slept over time. So if I say, which day of the week did Spot sleep the most? Well, my highest point, Friday. And which day of the week did he sleep the least? Ooh, definitely Saturday. Were there any days that he slept the same amount? Well, I can come and look and say, well, yeah, Wednesday and Thursday he slept the exact same amount, and Monday and Sunday he slept the same exact amount. So this is a line graph and how to show how something changes over time. Okay, 2 more types of graphs left. So our next one is a line plot. Our last one was a line graph, and now it's a line plot. And this shows numbers. And this, guys, is the same type of one that we do on Mountain Math every single week. So I have my title up at the top. How many Flipgrids each student filmed? So we're going to say, okay, maybe we've been in 6 days of online classes. How many Flipgrids did they actually go? Did they do one every day? Did they forget some days? So I'm going to look at my list and I'm going to say, oh, this kid did not do any Flipgrids. I'm going to give him an X on here. Maybe the next kid filmed 3. The next one did 2. And then I've got a kid that filmed 5. The next kid filmed 5. Ooh, this next kid did all 6. Now I have a child. I don't see any Flipgrids. They're back. They did none. This kid did 4. This kid did 5. 6 Flipgrids. 5 Flipgrids. 3 Flipgrids. 6 Flipgrids. 3 and 4. So I went through all my class list and I put an X on each spot on my line plot graph to show how many Flipgrids each kid has done. And I should have labeled this, how many Flipgrids. And so each X on here stands for what? Stands for 1 student. So I could say how many students just did 3 Flipgrids? Well, 3 kids did 3 Flipgrids. And how many students did all 6 Flipgrids? Well, I also only had 3 kids do 6 Flipgrids. And how many kids do I need to be calling because I haven't seen them do any Flipgrids? Ooh, these 2 kids, what are you doing, Bobby and Susie? I don't have any Flipgrids in for you yet. So our line plot's a quick and easy way to say, hey, how many has done each of these things? So in this one, how many students has done different number of Flipgrids? So this is a line plot graph. We have one more type of graph to go through. So our last type of graph is called a picture graph. And this is one you guys probably recognize from kindergarten, 1st grade. This was probably the first type of graph you started doing. But we're going to up it a little bit. Remember we talk about how in 4th grade, sometimes we build upon the things we've done in the past. So we've done picture graphs. We're going to keep building upon it. So in this picture graph, we're looking at the hours spent outside during some of these days when you've got all kinds of school to do at home. But here's an important thing. Over on the side, we have what is called a key, just like a house key. But this key is going to tell you what the picture stands for. So a sunshine stands for 2 hours. And this is where things are a little different. It's not just a single thing. This sunshine stands for 2 hours. Sometimes it might stand for 5. Sometimes it might stand for 100 or something. So you need to make sure you figure out what your key stands for in a picture graph. So if I look up here, Mason, just by looking at my graph, I can tell he did not spend tons of time outside. So if he has 1 sunshine, how many hours did Mason spend outside? 1 sunshine is 2 hours, so he was outside for 2 hours. Tracy, on the other hand, has 2 sunshines. If each of them counts for 2, we have 2, 4. How many hours did Tracy spend outside? She was outside for 4 hours. But now let's look at James. He has a son and a half. Well, if 1 son is 2 hours, if we chop that in half, how many hours is a half a son? 1 hour. So how many hours was James outside total? 3 hours. So more than Mason, but less than Tracy. So now let's look down here at Jessie. What if I told you that Jessie was outside for 7 hours? Maybe she was one of those kids that woke up at 7 a.m., did all of her homework, and then went outside. So she's going to have 2, 4. You could even write a 4 in here if you want, instead of that 2 if that confuses you. 6. Then for our next one, we can't draw a whole sun because that would put us at 8. So we're going to do a half of a sun, and that would put us at 7. So Jessie was outside for 7 hours. And we could quickly see who was outside the most, Jessie. Who was outside the second most, Tracy. Was there anyone who was outside the same amount of time? No. So by using a picture graph, you can tell, you can make pictures for things to represent different things that you're graphing. So if you have any questions on any of these graphs, guys, let me know. If not, good luck on your stuff this week, and I hope to hear from each of you soon. Remember to post those Flipgrid videos as well. Have an awesome day. Bye.